Zane. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Plano West Rotary. This is our meeting on Tuesday, March 8th. So I'm going to turn it over to our Sergeant of Arms in this house on the lake, who he hasn't allowed us to have a party there yet. Steve Lawton, take it away.
Thank you, Alex. Just for the record, all of you are always welcome to come give us a visit at the lake. We're about an hour and a half away from Plano on Lake Richland Chambers, which is near Corsicana. Also for the famous Collins Street Bakery. So come on down. I'm going to start with Norma's Cafe today because we've only got a couple people online so far. So who wants to start off a brag from Norma's?
Me.
All right.
Some of y'all know that about 3 weeks ago, I took in a foster dog. He is a full-blood English pointer. Beautiful boy. He was probably either a breeder or an owner dump. He was found with 2 other full-blood English pointers. They'd probably been out for about a week. All of them had gotten tangled up with a porcupine and were full of quills. I did not find them. The original people found them were outside of Abilene. So he has now been neutered and he is ready to be adopted. So far, this is what he has learned. He was definitely not a pet. Okay, he did not even know that he could take treats from our hand. But this is what he's learned so far. He goes right into his crate. He knows to sit. He knows down. He walks on his leash. He plays nice with Jack. And when I, have to reprimand him about being a little bit too rough, he immediately stops. He's very sensitive. So please put the word out. He is about, when he gets up to weight and we're getting him there, he'll probably be about 45 to 50 pounds and he's about 22 inches high at the shoulder. So send the word out.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Who would like to go next?
So I want to I think Alex will probably talk about this, but I want to remind everyone that a week from Saturday is adoption awareness, and we could still use some people signing up, especially for lunches. We've got 2 or 3 going on that now, and security. Tara needs some help with security, and it's easy. It's 2 or 3 hours. And so if anybody can, and if you haven't been contacted by us, you will be in the next couple of days.
Does it have to be Rotary members?
No, it can be family,
So
friends.
bring other people. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have a lot of, I've already started down my list from church, so I've got other people coming, so. Anybody else want to?
I don't know why I'm admitting people, but I am.
I do too.
I'll brag. This is Joy. I just want to brag that we have, I think my count now is either 6 or 7 of our members signed up for the district leadership training on the 26th. So super proud of everybody for that. And I know it's the next weekend, but we also need volunteers for the Texas Forever Festival to make funnel cakes. So sign up. It's lots of fun.
What's the date of that?
The 26th. Yeah, it's the same day as the leadership training. It's the 26th. It's from 11 to 6 at Haggard Park. We're looking for volunteers in the morning and volunteers in the afternoon. So splitting it up into 2 shifts. It's going to be fun. We're going to go hang with Fred and Mike.
Hey, it's Isabel here. Just wanted to, I feel good that I've been starting my pet sitting kind of side job, or real job, but been trying to get more. I got another client. It's funny because I was just about to post if anybody needed help with their fur babies. And just when I was thinking about it, my friend contacted me and she's like, do you know anyone? I'm like, I have an opening. So yeah, that's taking off. And My parents came to visit for a couple days to celebrate my birthday early. So that was a great visit. So yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Anybody else online, Steve?
Yeah, we got some more people online. Be happy to ask them to brag. Just to reconfirm, Glenn, that event you were talking about is on Saturday, March 19th.
Yes,
Yeah, you guys
From
can,
what time to what time?
it's
8 to 1.
8. Yeah, thank you.
You can sign me up for security.
So Janice said you guys are doing something with your grandkids.
Oh, well, let me double check that.
Talk to the boss, man.
I've already got you down for security.
I think she's out of town, but I will.
Well, we definitely want you if you're available. Thank you.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be batching it that day, but I will make sure before I fully commit. But put me on your list. Okay, so let's see here. Participants. Zane, I haven't really heard much out of you lately. You want to do some bragging?
Let's wake Michael Cook up. Come on, Michael. Give us a brag, man.
I'm bragging that my wife took all of our kids on vacation without me. So I have 5 days of wife-free, kid-free time to do nothing but nonsense. Very excited about it.
A huge brag, man.
Everybody needs that.
How about James Kennedy?
He's our speaker. Is he there?
I see him out there.
Let me unmute. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
There he is.
Hi, fellow
Hi, Jay.
Rotarians. I also had a visit from my folks last month, which was lovely. And I've got a couple friends coming in town next week. So those are both, I guess, happy dollar worthy.
Yeah. Thank you. Zane, did you want to brag?
No, he's in class.
I see. It's just got his name up there. Well, that's everybody that's online that I can see.
James, come on.
James Thomas, would you like to brag?
Thank you. Unfortunately, Steve, no brags today. Just happy to be alive.
Well, that's awesome. We're glad you are alive today. How about Miss Tamara Thomas? Would she like to brag?
Hello, everyone. I would like to brag about our scholarship committee is on a roll. We were able to get our application done and a flyer done, and we're passing it out and looking forward to all the applicants that will come in for our scholarship program this year.
We really appreciate you, Tamara, for doing that.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Brett Moore here. I'm being forced to brag. And so I'd like to brag about the opportunity to join this fine group here. Something I've been looking forward to for a while. So it's a special day for me, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. I think we've
I think
talked to everybody, Alex.
Steve Clevey was ready to brag.
Go ahead, Clevey.
Let's see. There's got to be something to brag about.
You're here.
And I look around my room. I mean,
You look beautiful today.
thank you. I was going to tell you the same thing. I'm like, oh my God, she looks so beautiful in that green. Yeah. And I totally want to go blonde too, but you know. So I just got the best compliment from a superwoman. So that's my brag.
You have a cape?
Got Kent rolling. Kent,
You have to put your cape on, Tamara.
Kent Stone. You want to say anything to the group?
Go Rotary for all the progress and success we provide.
Definitely. Woohoo!
And I'm continue my recovery. I am noticeably better this week. So thank you.
Fantastic news. Glad to hear it.
Want to keep this up and get well before they put me on some more drugs, and the maintenance dose is going to drag me down. So I need to get strong before they start giving me that maintenance medicine.
Let us know if there's anything we do to help.
I will. Thank you.
Robert Stone, do you want to brag?
That was Kip.
Oh.
All right. Well,
Stone's computer.
Steve, I'm going to close it out with a brag.
Okay, sir.
Excited. I had the opportunity to speak at Midwest last weekend, and the result was we had 385 presidents that put together a list of 85 small projects. There are 7 DGEs committed to encourage them to complete them in the next 60 days with the goal of having their community volunteer with them. So the idea that we're going to have 385 Rotary clubs do service projects in the next 2 months in what the states of Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin is just very, very excited. So I'm kind of bragging on those Rotary clubs, those 7 districts, and just a big impact that they're going to have. And I think we're going to feel the reverberations down here, because that's what Rotary is about.
Fantastic.
Well,
I'm going to pass it to you. And Lisa Keller said I had 10 minutes.
Turn this over to Miss Tamara online, who is going to lead us into invocation. So take it away, Superwoman.
Sorry, I lost connection, so I had to call in on my phone. Let's bow our heads and pray. Father, we just thank you for such a wonderful day today. This is the day that you have made, and we are rejoicing and glad in it because our trust and our hope is in you. Father, your word says that if we would commit our works unto the Lord, our thoughts will be established. So as we continue in this meeting, we pray that you will continue to establish our thoughts, give us creative ideas and ways and means to serve others and be a blessing to others. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
And thank you, Tamara. Now, Miss Clevey, you're going to lead us in the pledge.
Okay. Here, you know what? I would stand up, but you'll just see my waist. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, now we're going to do something. Oh, we have a new visitor in the room. Hey, our newest city employee. It's kind of cool to see you working local. Yay.
Oh, can you have them wave? Because I can't see. I mean, I just see people.
Oh, she's sitting on the wrong side of the room. That's why.
Oh.
Camera only shows here.
Well, I actually have this up right now. So.
There we go. Well, hey, what we're going to do is what I always call the most fun part about our meeting. First, we're going to vote. We have a really tough vote ahead of us. We're going to vote for Mr. Brett Moore to join our club. So Zane is going to set up the online poll. Everybody online can vote except for James Kennedy, because you're not a member of our club. And then everybody in local can vote except for the Mosiers and Brett. So vote quickly, folks. All in favor?
Wait a second.
Well, go ahead and vote.
They can't see that.
And then Zane, how are we doing online? Well,
yeah.
He said good. All right. So it's unanimous, Brett. You have been voted into the Plano West Rotary Club. Now you have to come up. What's really special, Brett, this is actually my 25th month as a Rotary Club president. And I've over 50 people. This is only the second one I've done in person.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is really, really
That's what I was
special for
telling
me.
you. What do I do to?
So, Brett, you have been proposed for membership and the club has elected you. Therefore, it is my pleasure to induct you into the Rotary Club of Plano West. I understand that you are aware of Rotary's requirements and will follow them. You have offered your services to assist fellow Rotarians in their community and international projects. As you know, Rotary is a service club, each member performing what Rotary terms as service above self. Besides service, you'll have the benefit of the powerful bonds of friendship with fellow Rotarians locally and worldwide. I especially commend to you the attention of the object of Rotary and the four-way test, which form the criteria for Rotarians in their daily lives. When you travel, you'll have the special opportunity to attend Rotary meetings and meet Rotarians throughout the world. This is another rewarding benefit of your membership. And now, by the power vested in me as president of the Rotary Club of Plano West, our president-elect, Joy Hinkleman, will fight with the magnet. And she's going to pin the Rotary emblem on you and declare you to be an active member of this Rotary Club. Brett, welcome to Rotary. And we look forward to the enrichment of our lives and your own by your association with the world's oldest, largest, and finest service organization, Rotary International. We were 117 years old last week. So I'm glad you're part of it. You guys, if you guys haven't met Brett, he's a workaholic. When he shows up for a service wait, Brett, you got to come up. He just works and works even after the service project is over. So now that he's a member, he's going to work more. No, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I think like many young men, I grew up, or at least many young men where I grew up in a small town in Georgia. I grew up sort of selfishly until my early adult years, and I had a horrible experience with my house burning down.
Oh, wow.
And it sort of acted as a wake-up call for me, because as I was standing across from my home while it was burning down, I was in my boxers and a t-shirt, and all of the neighbors that came out to look at the fire brought me shoes,
Right, I'm not.
brought me blankets, brought me clothes, pledged for me a car because my car was in the garage to get around to do the things I needed to do. Took me to the bank the next day so I could start the process of getting new cards and all of that stuff. And that experience really stuck with me. And I think after that, when I began to focus on my community, my life started to change in such a positive way. And I used to attribute that to, more religious or karmic reasons. But I think what it really is that I began to be comfortable receiving something from people. And it only felt natural then to offer my hand back out, right? And so that exchange can feel awkward at times. But as I kind of embraced that in my life, all the best things began to happen for me. So I'm married to the girl that my mom would say, you need to date a girl like that. The exact girl. My son he's amazing. He's a joy. Seems like everything we really put our minds to now is going well. So I say all that to say, I'm really excited to be here and kind of continue the service in my life and enrich that and know you people and get to spend time with you people and help others. So.
Awesome. Well, Brett, now something you wanted to do, you can now do. He wants to go to leadership training. He told me that. This is one of the reasons we're inducting him now, so he could go. So, all right, man. Thank you very much. Because he asked me about it. I'm like, well, you have to be a Rotarian to go. And so Joy will be leading the charge of all of our members getting training on Rotary. Well, next, we're going to have our foundation moment, and we are honored with our past district governor, John Mosier, is going to share a little bit about the foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. You know, I always start off with a true story, and I'm going to tell you the true story about the old cowboy who was talking to his grandson. And he told his grandson, you know, if you want a long, healthy life, put a little gunpowder in your food every day. And the old cowboy did. He had 2 children, he had 4 grandchildren, he had 8 great grandchildren, and a 16-foot hole in the crematorium. Gunpowder blew up. Hole. Pretty bad when it got to explain them.
No, it's funny for sure.
If you don't know, our foundation, your foundation, was founded in 1905. Well, I'm sorry, Rotary was founded in 1905. In 1917, we had the International Convention in Atlanta, Georgia. And the then president of Rotary International, Arch Klump, donated $26.50 to found the foundation. And that's where it started. And today the foundation has almost $2 billion in it. So it's doing well. It's rated by all of the firms who rate foundations as being #1 in the world. And it's, well, I need to stand over here. Okay. It's a great place to put your money. Let me kind of tell you how the foundation works. And this is very, very brief and simplistic. The foundation is very complex, but just so you'll know, when you send money to the annual fund in the foundation, it sits at the foundation for 3 years. And at the end of 3 years, half of it comes back to the district. And that's what we use for district grants, scholarships, and other things. Half of it stays with the foundation in the World Fund. And we use the World Fund for funding all our projects all over the world, big, fancy projects elsewhere. So giving the money to the foundation is a fantastic way to take care of your money. It is a 501c3, so it's tax deductible, giving your money to that. Clubs are 501c4s. The other part of the foundation, which we're very proud of, is, of course, the Polio Plus, and that's different from the annual fund. So if you give money to polio, it helps us eliminate that dreaded disease of polio. I don't know if you've seen it or not. We've had 1 case of polio. This year, we've had 0 cases in Pakistan now for almost a year and a half. We've had 4 cases in the last year in Afghanistan. There was 1 case in Malawi, and it was really last year. It came from Afghanistan via air to there, and that's where that was. So we don't really count that in this year's statistics. Now, let me see why I'm really here. When you give money to the foundation, you're recognized by your club and by your district and by your fellow Rotarians. If you give $1,000 to the foundation, doesn't matter what length of time, you become a Paul Harris Fellow. And Paul Harris Fellow goes in different levels, +1, +2, all the way through +8, +9, I guess it was +9. Then you become a major donor. And after a major donor, you can become an Arch Klump Society member. In the foundation, giving to becoming an Paul Harris Fellow, the $1,000 level, you can agree to give $1,000 a year, $85 a month, and join the Paul Harris Society. And that's what I'm here for, because I'm going to give Alex and Laura, who's not here, their Paul Harris chevrons, which goes on your badge, so you recognize as a, yeah, exactly. Where's your pen? You don't have your pen on, yeah. Yeah, we can't do that. By the way, the Paul Harris Fellow was created in 1957. So it's a relatively new in the Rotary world. It's new to the Rotary, but it's a great honor. And I guess we have some also coming for the Thorntons. I didn't know that and didn't bring any, so we'll have some more for them.
Thank you very much, past District Governor Mosier. I was telling him and Trudy have been regular guests to our club, actually more so than some of our members. So It's pretty awesome. I mean, what, you guys are like 10 minutes away from here? 20. There we go. Easy makeups. Like John said, the Paul Harris Society, it's as simple as committing $85 a month to the Rotary Foundation. And honestly, I was actually inspired from Glenn and Michelle, because when I was in my other Rotary club, we gave regularly, but it was to their local foundation. And I didn't realize that. So I thought I had this big buildup in the Rotary Foundation, did not. And so, well, I was actually giving to our Rotary Club. Remember that, for youth services. And then Glenn was telling me what they did. Well, wait a minute, let me just give to the foundation. So Glenn and Michelle, even though they haven't gotten their chevrons yet, they actually were in Paul Harris Society before Lauren and I. So we will track down their chevrons as well. And so we encourage anybody, $85 a month. And, you know, we're saving lives locally and globally. And so thank you very much, John and Trudy. Well, next, we're going to move on to the slide about club business.
Okay,
Go, Joanne.
I'm getting there.
So in the meantime, who can sing?
What do you want me to sing?
Oh, we got one. I want you to sing the slide. No.
Oh,
All right. Well, we've got our board meeting March 21st. As I say every month, everybody's invited, even though you never show up. But we do have 8 people on our board. We will have 9 in July, because I'll actually only hold 1 spot. So that'll be wonderful. Media past president. And Joy will be leading the meetings. We also have district assembly, which is on March 26th. And Brett could actually go now because he's a member. So if we have somebody that's not even in Rotary wanting to go to club leadership, we have 66 other people that need to sign up. I think Joy said you have 7 so far. And so he'll make 8. So that's 59 more people that could sign up. So because whenever we show up, our club shows up in mass. And so this is nothing different. So, and the more we get trained, the better we're going to be as a club. And as it says on the slide, you pay $15, we reimburse you. So it's not even that expensive. So we want you to go. The Rotary International Convention is in Houston. There's no reimbursement, but we want you to go. That's in June. I think in 2028, it has been proposed, we haven't been accepted to be in Chicago, but it's not accepted yet. So that just kind of tells you it takes a long time before it gets back to America. So do it now. This is an easy drive. And we'd love to get a lot more people in our club going to that. I'm going to be there, not my wife, but myself. And I know we have a few others in our club. And Miss Tamara, she's actually going to be on a panel for Rotary Community Course. So we definitely want to support our president nominee in her global debut. And then let's talk about our service projects. Can you believe we didn't do anything last week? We are like slowing down, but we're making it up because we're doing 8 and for the rest of the month. So we have a cleanup project on this weekend. Lynn runs that.
It'll be cold.
It's wear a jacket.
Wear layers.
Wear layers. It makes it fun. How are we doing? Are there any spots left?
I haven't looked for that.
So we cap it out at 10. It usually fills up. So definitely sign up for that. We also have our partnership with Bed Start, delivering furniture to needy families. For the most part, these are refugees. I know lately it's been refugees from Afghanistan. I bet you soon we'll be probably getting maybe refugees from Ukraine. But it's families that are in need. We did increase the capacity of that to 13 people. So sign up and be a part of that. Wear a jacket. That's actually on the 19th. You're just in there, in and out 2 hours. Then on the 19th, we have our big show. Finally, after 3 years, or we haven't done it in 3 years, 2 years and not been able to do it, our Adoption Awareness Fair. And this is just having fun and playing games with kids that are looking for a home. This is the funnest service project. It's indoors, so you don't have to wear a coat. And we need more volunteers for that. It's really great because we have a lot of Rotary clubs from the district that take stations. And so you'll be able to meet people from all over the district as well as people in the community. But as you heard earlier, we still have some spots to fill up. I think Tara, our club member, is head of security. She needs more security people. So that doesn't mean you're a bouncer, but you just kind of have eyes and pay attention. What are the other spots we need? Lunch.
And some miscellaneous games.
And
like
miscellaneous
basketball
games.
And beanbag toss, I think.
Bring teenagers, as long as they're in high school and up, right? High school and up, it's a lot of fun. I know we have our interactors that have taken an entire station for crafts, I think I heard. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and sign up yourself. With what, we have 6 to 7 people in this club. We should be able to fill these spots up. So let's get busy, folks. We have our food pantries on March 22nd, March 24th, and why am I missing one? Maybe we already did it. There's supposed to be 3. Either I messed up or we did it earlier. So they're on the calendar. Sign up for the food pantries. This is where we're delivering food at specific schools for needy families. And then we have funnel cakes. We haven't sold funnel cakes in 2 years. This is a year of first. And so that's going to be on March 26th. And we also need volunteers for that. And maybe it'll be warm, otherwise bring a coat. That is outdoors. But at least you get some free funnel cakes. And Joy, Fred, and Mike are leading that up with a lot of volunteers. So sign up for that, everybody. And last but not least, Julia Lynn. She is our board member who's at UT Austin student. She is leading the All Plano Schools 4-way test speech contest. This particular contest is at Plano Senior High School. We're partnering with Plano Metro Rotary, Plano Sunrise Rotary, and Plano East Rotary. So all 4 Rotary clubs, we're recruiting students to compete. We're going to select students. We're going to target schools that we sponsor for Interact. So we have first right of refusal for Plano Senior High School, Clark, and Vines. And then the other Rotary clubs are doing the same. So in April, I think a week later, we're going to have 3 students speak to our club from here. And both clubs or both contests are judged by Toastmasters. For those that don't know, Rotary has a global relationship with Toastmasters. We're encouraged to work together. And so this particular contest is at Plano Senior High School. She doesn't need any more volunteers, but they do need more students. So if you know of any student that goes to high school in Plano, that's high school, senior high school, private school, home school, they can compete. So if you go on the website, you could click the link and they have their whole sign up there. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Nathan Tay. And when we're going to move to the next slide, and Nathan is going to introduce our speaker. So take it away, Nathan.
Thank you, Alex. Can you hear me? Yes. Right. So our speaker today happens to be James Kennedy. James Kennedy is the founder, president, and CEO of Beach City Solar Consulting, LLC, with global corporate headquarters based in Rincon, Puerto Rico, and remote offices in cities throughout the country. Beach City Solar Consulting LLC is an education-based solar solutions consulting firm that works with. There's something on the slide for the. Let me read my slide.
I'm sorry, I don't know why that's on there.
Homeowners, business owners, and corporations.
Right. Okay, so that works with buy-side homeowners, business owners, and corporations to provide them with 10 key energy solutions to go green, save money, and become energy resilient. James has consulted on dozens of commercial and corporate solar installations for clients including sketches and remakes. James cares deeply about protecting the environment for future generations and getting America off fossil fuel for good. James is the vice president of the San June Rotary Club and recently published a solar energy secret for homeowners. Help me welcome James Kennedy.
Thank you. Greetings, Rotarians. It's nice to see everyone and be a part of your meeting. I really appreciated getting the information about the foundation reinforced. I've obviously given to the Paul Harris, or to the foundation, and I'm a Paul Harris fellow, but it's always nice to hear that, you know, how those funds are used and invested and recycled back in our communities. So I did appreciate that. And certainly I can also empathize with, I think it was Brett as your new member, about, you know, giving and what Rotary is and how much it has impacted my life in a positive way, which I'll get to here in a second. So let me share my screen. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. And can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's get to full screen. So the title of my talk is called The 5 Winds of Solar Energy. The reason for that is when I started the company in Southern California 5 years ago, the local newspaper featured me in an article and quoted me as saying that the solar is a win-win, win-win-win. So that's what we're going to discuss here today. The 5 wins of solar are that it saves the property owner tens of thousands to millions of dollars on their lifetime energy costs. It creates local jobs. It adds value to your property. As we're seeing here with you know, the war between Russia and Ukraine, the need is becoming even more. We already had a huge need for resiliency and for the future of our planet and generations, but now we've got a pressing need to get off of fossil fuels for, you know, to stop funding wars. And fifth, energy resilience. There's a reason that we're based here in Puerto Rico and that we work in California and Texas. All of those markets have had challenges in the last several years, whether it was the grid shutdown last year in Texas, the hurricane here, or wildfires in my home state of California. So what we do, our whole mission is to educate property owners about the benefits of solar energy and storage. We do work with all different types of property owners, from homeowners all the way up to big corporations. I've been doing this for 7 years, and what I've realized is that our industry has done a terrible job of educating its customers. If you know anything about solar, I'm not sure if any of you have it on your homes. Texas is the number 2 market in the country right now for solar energy adoption. Most people, all they know is they do a quick Google search about solar, and then they're inundated with calls or emails, or somebody knocked on their door and tried to sell them, you know, something. So I never liked that approach. I was a financial advisor for 12 years before I got into this business, and that industry is all about education and referrals. So I've built the company basically around that model, and have a strong belief that when we do our job of educating our customers, our clients, our potential clients, the rest takes care of itself. So a little bit about the business. We're a socially and environmentally conscious business. We do donate 5% of our profits to nonprofits. That's very important to me as a Rotarian. Basically, the nice thing about owning a business, as I'm sure there are business owners in the room, is you can cater your company's values around that of your own. And there's been a lot of overlap with Rotary. I've been a Rotarian for 5.5 years now, in both California and here in Puerto Rico. And we have, of course, supported our projects in a number of different ways in both of those clubs and elsewhere. But there are some other organizations that we have supported here. I won't bore everybody with reading them. But what do we do as a company? We provide turnkey solar energy and storage solutions to California, Texas, and Puerto Rico property owners to help them go solar, save money, and most importantly, get off of fossil fuels. So it's important to note that we're not the contractor. We are, again, a consulting company that our role is to analyze utility data, specify equipment for a turnkey solution, recommend a provider, bring financing to the table if it's necessary, again, essentially facilitate the transaction. So this is a quick snapshot of where we are in the industry nationwide. There have been over 3 million solar installations in the country. Those are all rooftop installations. It doesn't include the big solar farms that you see popping up throughout Texas. Over 113,000 of those installations are in Texas, and that has contributed over $14 billion of economic activity in the state. President Biden and Vice President Harris are hoping to reach 8 million installations by the end of their term. I talked about job creation. There's over 260,000 solar jobs in the country. 10,000 of those jobs are in Texas. And what we've seen in California has the most solar installations in the country, partially because their cost of electricity is so high. They have mandated that all new homes have to be built with solar, and starting next year, commercial facilities as well. The commercial facilities have to include energy storage. I do expect that trend to continue with other states. We did see New Jersey and a couple of other states require new construction be solar ready. And the next step, of course, would be that it does require. So what's driving all of this growth? It has been primarily economic. The costs have come down about 70% in the last 10 years. If you're familiar with the phrase or the term Moore's Law, basically it states that as any new technology is produced in mass, the cost will come down. Two great examples of that in my lifetime have been cell phones and personal computers. We've seen it with solar panels. I think the next thing that we're going to see it with is with solar batteries, particularly as more and more consumers adopt electric vehicles. The federal government has also incentivized the adoption of this technology. There's a one-time 26% federal tax credit on the project that is set to expire at the end of this year. Hopefully, we're certainly hopeful that that will get extended, but it has not been yet. It doesn't matter whether it's a home solar project that's $30,000 or a corporate project that's $3 million, the credit is 26%. 100% financing options. Banks and credit unions and other investors have gotten into the space, recognizing the opportunity. So you no longer need to write a big check, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner. You can finance the project and save money immediately. And then finally, corporate America loves solar. A lot of the solar farms that are being built in Texas are owned by corporations or investors that are selling that clean energy to corporations. A good example of that is HPE Hewlett Packard Enterprises. They're a very large corporate buyer of renewables. We're fortunate to call both Skechers and Remax corporate clients of ours. Resiliency, so important without the ability to rely on the grid anymore. As everybody knows, in Texas, with the winter storm last year, you either have to have a generator or solar and batteries to ensure that your home and business have power. It's the resiliency issue. The storage component of the project is also eligible for the 26% tax credit. What we typically see, most homes really only need one battery. You can go up to 3 batteries, but I think it's overkill. It depends upon what you're looking to back up. With one battery, you can get most of your quote unquote critical loads like kitchen appliances, lights, security system, home office, internet router. So basically anything that you need to have a functioning home or business during a grid outage. So as we've seen the costs come down of the equipment, of the hardware, we're seeing rates continue to go up. Here's a couple of articles, one from the Dallas Morning News and the other from the Houston Chronicle, that talked about this. And this was obviously at the beginning of the year, prior to the most recent spike we've seen in both natural gas and oil prices. So last year, rates increased in Texas, or in Dallas, I should say, 17%. This it also does not factor in the future rate increases that are going to come due to the grid outages last year. I talked about the added value to the property. I won't get into a commercial valuation. It's too complex, but it's based upon the additional cash flow that the asset is generating. The New York Times has a great study that says nationwide solar panels add about $20,000 of value upon resale of the home. This is an appraisal from my home that sold in California, and it actually added exactly that amount. You can see the appraiser added a line item here. The key thing to understand is that valuation is going to change based upon the neighborhood, the age of the equipment, and of course the utility bill that it's offsetting. So savings are really what everybody's interested in. This is an average home in Texas. I'm sure you're all familiar. You're probably paying somewhere around $200 a month if you're using about 1,000 kilowatt hours a month in energy. A solar system, the equipment is warranted for 25 years. So if you do the math over here and you see the inflation rate at 5%, you would pay a little over $100,000 to your utility. If they stopped raising rates, or if natural gas never went up again, which I think is obviously pretty optimistic, this would still be $60,000. Here's a quick example case study of the alternative. If you were to adopt the technology, this is for an average home in Texas with the same bill, $200 a month to the local retail electricity provider. You're looking, this also has a battery, so you don't have to worry about the grid outages. You're looking at an investment of about $41,000. You would get a one-time 26% federal tax credit of just under $11,000, and your net investment would be about $30,000. In the state of Texas, there are utility rebates. The most common one that pops up in my head is Austin Energy. It does depend upon the provider that you're with. We'd be happy to look into that for anybody that is interested, but there are rebates in other markets that we operate in. Those rebates were eaten up years ago. So if we look at our net investment of $30,000, excluding any potential rebate, and our savings of $2,400 a year, we're looking at a return on investment of 10 years. Total lifetime savings, if you stay in the home, about $77,000, and an added value of $30,000. If you wanted to finance, again, this is a case study. There's a lot of different moving parts. The same Texas home, of course, you're going to have to pay an origination fee to the lender, so the project cost is a little bit higher. The tax credit in this case would also go to the lender. In our industry, this is called zero down solar, and the concept is that you can take a bill, a liability every month, like your cell phone bill, and turn it into an asset. At the same time fixing that liability and saving some money. So in this case, with this term and rate, you're trading a $200 bill for a $173 loan. Of course, there's lots of different options with regard to financing, but that is the concept. Going solar is pretty easy in the state of Texas. There's no electrical panel upgrades needed. This again is our scope of work up front. Whether you engage our company or a competitor, basically all we need, everything is done remote. I set up the company to be remote when I moved the business from California to Puerto Rico, and ironically 6 months later COVID hit, and every industry went remote. So basically, to do our analysis, all we need is a utility bill, a picture of the electrical panel and roof material. With that information, we are able to run the analysis and provide a turnkey proposal. that shows before and after utility bills, financing options, utility savings, return on investment, so forth and so on. Our installation partners, they're the contractors. Once the contract has been executed, it goes to them to build the project. This scope of work takes anywhere between 8 to 12 weeks. The majority of that is waiting on the city to issue the permit. So basically, you're looking at a 1-hour site evaluation to confirm everything that has been proposed, make sure everything is up to fire, electrical, and building code. A licensed engineer then drafts the plans. The property owner signs off on them. This is really the bulk of the workflow here, is waiting on the city to issue the permit. The installation is the easiest part, 1 to 3 days. Residential, typically 2 to 4 weeks. Commercial, depends. Once the project is built, of course, the city has to come out and sign off on it. And then finally, PTO is the celebration part of the project, when you are quote unquote, you're still connected to the grid, but you're off the grid. And you're, if your retail electricity provider has a net metering program, you're able to sell any excess energy produced on the site that you don't use back to that electricity provider. These are some examples of projects that we've done over the years. I'll put my information in the chat. We do offer a discount to vets, Rotarians, and I will open it up for questions.
Oh, I have a question.
So with, in my case, it's a composition roof. So what happens when that's installed and the solar panels are installed, and then 2 years later, I need to replace my roof?
Great question. We actually always recommend that if you have less than 5 years left on your roof, that you do both projects at the same time. We're not tax advisors, but it's very common in the industry that when you combine both of those scopes of work, that the 26% federal tax credit for solar is applicable to both. Again, I would recommend checking with your tax advisor on that. But again, rule of thumb is under 5 years, you do both together. If it's over 5, you can deal with it when it's necessary.
So but here in Texas, I could have a brand new roof and then the hailstorm comes and need a new roof. So that's just going to be a costly roof change, I guess, if I need to replace the shingles, the roof, and I have solar panels on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have hail, then the nice thing about the panels is they'll actually protect your roof. The panels are extremely durable. There's a lot of stuff online. You can, depending upon the manufacturer, you can go to their YouTube channels and they're weather tested. They have the same pitching machine that baseball teams use for batting practice, and they have golf balls and baseball, and they shoot it at the panels and they bounce right off. Nothing happens.
So James, I have a 2-story home and the pitch of my roof is mad high. How do I get up there to give you a sample of my roof, like what my roof looks like? Or do I just provide an aerial of my
Yeah,
roof?
aerial's fine. I mean, the roof material is typically just a confirmation, because a lot of times people aren't even sure what they have. And they'll tell us one thing, and then we'll, provide a proposal, and then, there might be a cost that's
I freeze people apparently. That's my new magic power.
He's muted for some reason.
Oh, he
Hi,
froze.
sorry. Yeah.
You're here. Okay.
Difficulties. I popped right back in. Yeah, you can just take a picture. I mean, it's just the material.
Oh, it's material. Okay, I've got that.
You don't need the entire, like the 90% of the time we can tell from Google Earth what we're working with, but we want to be accurate with the proposals and the bids. And we've had situations where people say, oh, I've got a concrete tile and it's actually clay, or, something along those lines. And then, there's a cost that pops up at the site audit that wasn't initially specified because it just wasn't clear. So that's why we asked for those deliverables.
Okay, thank you. It's the composition, not the way it's designed. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
About the storage aspect of it, that's kind of new to solar, is having the ability to store the energy.
Yeah, it's the tech has been around for, I'd say, 5 to 7 years. We've really only seen the adoption over the last 3. I remember when they first came to market in 2017, nobody knew like how many batteries you'd need, how long they would last, what you could back up. We're seeing about 40 to 50% of our client base opt for energy storage now because the grid outages are so prevalent. But it depends on the market that you're in and what your goals are, whether it makes sense or not.
Battery sealed?
Yes, they're sealed. They can be installed either outside or inside, but it is preferred to be inside.
Lithium?
Correct.
Okay.
So this is Michelle. I have a question also about the the innovation of the technology, and if do we expect a lot of improvements in that area, with the efficiency of solar being able to capture energy, and if at some point there is a new way to, or an improvement, do you basically get a whole new solar panel, or can they change out part of your?
Sure. Really good questions. So the technology is going to continue to get better, right? Like just like cell phones, just like computers. I mean, it's going to become more efficient. The footprint for the panels will be reduced over time as the panels become more efficient. When I started in the business 7 years ago, panels were probably around 15% efficiency. Now the top panels are around 22%. In a practical application, that just means you need less panels. So depending upon the available solar access on the roof space, or off in the case of like a corporate or utility scale project, like the vacant land, that might come into play more on the residential side. If you have a small roof and a big bill, you need a more efficient panel. I have never had anybody, come to me and say, I want to swap out my working panels because it's an investment. And if once the time period, once you've recouped your investment, you're saving money, you're banking money every month. So what we typically see is with the older systems, the inverters were only warranted for 10 or 12 years back, in the day. And that's the issue. It's not the panels. So they need to replace the inverter, and then they go through the process of, hey, does it make sense to also replace the panels? Again, every situation is different. I don't want to say this is a blanket solution, but most of the time what people end up doing, if they start consuming more energy because they, did an improvement to the property, or they bought an electric vehicle, they typically end up building a second system. And the thing to consider, part of what we do is, our like KYC, my financial advisor background, know your client, is we want to do that analysis up front. So if you're going to get an EV, if you're going to, add an extra 1,000 square feet, we'll build the system up front to offset that energy, because there's fixed costs that you don't want to have to incur 2, 3, 4 years down the line, pulling the permit, the engineering plans, for an extra 4 or 5 solar panels. So we try to address all of that up front. Of course, things change. Life is fluid. It's not fixed. There are exceptions to the rule, but that's how we prefer to work.
James, thank you very much. We have a lot of members that were very interested in this topic. I think we had more questions here than we had in the last 5 presentations. So we
Ran out of
even
time for my question.
call out. We had Mr. Gary Hinkleman dial in, Joy's first guest. So that tells you how important this is. Of course, when she's president, he's got to show up for every meeting, right, Joe? Well, James, what we do for our speakers, and when
It's not sure.
it's not shared. You will see in a minute. It's a surprise, James.
I'm clicking. Oh, I see what the problem is. Okay, share screen. Nope.
Well, James, you already let us know that you have been a contributor to the Rotary Foundation. And so what we do for all our guests is in appreciation for your time and program, Plano West Rotary will donate $10 in your name to Rotary's Polio Plus Fund, together with the 2-to-1 matching funds from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Your $10 turns into $30, which will provide a polio vaccine for about 50 children. And James, given that you're a Rotarian, you probably already know Rotary's using its polio infrastructure in the aid of vaccinations for COVID-19, where we may be doing well in vaccinations in America, but the rest of the world, they're barely hitting 10%. So Rotary's pretty busy in the COVID process as well, while we are eliminating polio, which, as John said, we had 1 in Pakistan and 0 in Afghanistan. So other way around, 1 in Afghanistan and 0 in Pakistan. So James, thank you for your presentation today. Texas, we like the idea of solar. And your donation is going to support our Rotary efforts as well. So thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for having me and for the generous donation.
You are welcome. And next, I'm not sure what happened to my fonts here, but I could barely read it. Next week, we're going to have our speaker. She's going to talk about the Texas Muslim Women Foundation. And so we actually have a number of Muslim women in our club. And I don't think they told me when I was talking to them that they're members of that. And so I look forward to hearing this is an organization that does a lot of good in the community, and they've been around for a long time. So it's going to be a very informative presentation. So with that, running back to our soon-to-be leader, who's going to lead us in the 4-way test.
Okay, if everyone will join me in the 4-way test of the things we think, say,
Or do.
first, is it the
Is
truth?
it the truth?
Second, is it
Fair to all concerned.
third,
Hold goodwill and better friendships.
and fourth will
Be
be
beneficial to all concerned.
Rotary.
Thank you, everybody, and have a very great week and stay warm.
Take care, everyone.